Welcome to Sips and Spirits, a podcast for lovers of both alcoholic and spectral spirits. I am your co-host, Chelsea.
I'm a co-host, Eric.
Why do you sound surprised about that?
No, I'm admiring myself.
Time to put that away.
Put that away down there.
Focus on the mic.
Excuse me. A little disclaimer before we get started. Facts and stories are presented from various sources. We make no claims these tales are true. We just found to be spooky and interesting.
Mm-hmm. Cocktails and spirits are tasted for the first time unless noted otherwise. And this episode, we are revisiting a spirit label that we have done before, like the early days. We're going back to our roots with one of Deadhead rum's varietals. Now, we have tried this spirit before during an Instagram live, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. But just so you guys have a heads up, this is a spirit we've tried before, but we actually have not used it past outside of the live. So it'll be nice to kind of refresh our memory with it.
Oh, yes. Now, disclaimer before we go. We want to remind you that it's fine to enjoy the spirits, but don't let them possess you. We may be a drinking podcast, but we strongly encourage you to drink responsibly. As much as we love you enjoying our cocktails, there's never any pressure to consume them.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So,
yes.
What are we drinking?
All right. So today we are calling upon a spirit from Deadhead Rum of Temecula, California, distilled in the jungles of Chiapas, Mexico. We are using their dark chocolate flavored rum to summon the sun-kissed simian to the table. So what's so fun about this bottle is that it is like the other Deadhead rum bottles. It's the shape of a shrunken head, but the shrunken head is a monkey. And I did go into that a little bit when we did Deadhead rum last time. And I think Deadhead was like episode 6 or 7? It was really way back when.
This bottle is very hard to hold in pork, so it's a weird shape. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, if you guys are hearing any noises, Eric's filling our shot glass. So for those of you who are new to this, it has been actually quite a while since we've done a spirit tasting. So what we typically do is we'll try the spirit straight, and then we pick out one of their cocktails that seem to be a little bit more on the spooky side to us, and try that cocktail with the spirit we selected. So, All right.
But yeah, so we want to taste this cocktail.
Yeah, we ready to cheers the rum shot?
Rum shot.
So this is a dark chocolate flavored rum.
Bottoms
cheers.
Up. Chocolatey.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very chocolatey.
But like in a good way.
Yeah. It's not chocolate like a
chocolate wine.
Like you're getting like a chocolate wine or like something very sweet. It's like cocoa.
Right. And that was something I think I mentioned in our last video. But so how they distill this is they use the cacao pods and the beans. They don't take the fully processed chocolate. They're going straight to the source of what you would use to make the chocolate, which is where you're getting those flavors that feel very natural. But it's nice on your nose when you lift it up to your glass. You lift it up to your glass. When you lift it up to your mouth, and you know how when you're breathing in, you just kind of get that through your whole senses. It's really nice. Yeah. I like it.
There's a little burn. Very slight burn.
I'd say like your standard rum
burn.
But this is a great for sipping and chilling. I know one of the things, because I happened to watch one of they went through and did a tasting, explaining the flavors and stuff breakdown. And they were like a cigar would complement this really well. Yeah.
That'd be nice. I'll have this with a good 2 ounce pour in on my glass and have a cigar with just enjoying the smoke and whatnot, enjoying that. This would be great.
It's not sweet.
This would be great if you want to add a chocolate flavor, but not a chocolate sweetness.
Right.
To anything.
Exactly. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but chocolate does have a very unique flavor, but people tend to add a lot of sugar in addition to the chocolate to complement it.
Mm-hmm.
But this has that chocolate flavor without the sweetness. So just the typical molasses distillation sweetness you get from in a rum.
Yeah.
But it's not like overbearing or feels like it's making you feel like you're eating a chocolate bar. So I like it because I'm blasphemy, not a big chocolate fan.
Oh my
and I
goodness.
think I've mentioned that here before.
I married you? Jesus.
All right, so we ready to try our sun-kissed Simeon?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the name of the cocktail for anyone listening.
I was like, what?
Or missed that introduction.
I think.
So, cheers. Oh, that's really good.
Huh.
You know what it makes me think of? Like the chocolate oranges.
I was going to say exactly when you said what it makes me think of, I thought exactly those candies, those chocolate oranges. Mm-hmm. I was like, you grab that and make into a drink.
This is really nice.
This is very nice. This is a great.
But without the sweetness, like the overbearing sweetness.
Like the overbearing sweetness of the chocolate kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's not dark chocolate. So I like.
It is a dark chocolate.
But it's not a dark chocolate like.
Right.
Flavor.
Well, so it should be natural. They should call it like dark cacao flavor instead of dark chocolate. It's really good.
That was a very nice cocktail. Oh my goodness. I'm like, ooh, I should have made a double.
So we already kind of went through a lot of Deadhead's spooky rums when we did the live, or spooky cocktail recipes when we did the live tasting. So when we decided to pick the Sun-Kissed Simeon, we were kind of trying to see, okay, what's like a simple cocktail practically anyone could whip up right now because they have these ingredients. It's a very, very simple cocktail. It has
rum.
The Deadhead rum, which you might need to pick up, the Deadhead chocolate rum. It has orange juice, lime juice, both freshly squeezed, and then a little Grand Marnier float on top, as well as just a half ounce of simple syrup, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
it just
combine the rum, the simple syrup, and the two juices. Then put a little float of Grand Marnier on top. Yum! This is really, really nice. It's one of those
cocktails that you're building, and when you're done, you're like, "Did I forget an ingredient?"
Because it's so simple.
It's not so straightforward. It's like boom, 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 boom kind of thing, and then you're done.
Like Loch Ness. I feel like.
Yeah. So very good. Very refreshing. So this coming up in summer, this would be a great thing to have. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing I'm excited for. Kind of thing.
This would be a really great, but different tiki drink. You want to try and impress your friends. It hits all those tropical notes, but it's different. It's not like your Mai Tai or, I'm trying to think what's like a painkiller or daiquiri.
I wonder.
Yeah.
How this would taste with our. Would it taste good? I'm thinking our last year's Midsummer Screen cocktail, with the candy corn syrup. How this would pair with
how the Deadhead would?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might. I feel like the candy corn syrup might cancel
the
chocolate out, or they might not agree with each other.
No. I was for
I've
some
never
reason,
seen chocolate chip candy corn
because I was like, oh, it was orange, so it tastes like orange. No, it doesn't. It was candy corn, and so my mind's like, wait, can that?
You're thinking the orange color.
Yeah, I was thinking the orange color. Like, well, wait, that'll pair really good with it. I was like, no, that's not gonna be that good. Never mind. But kind of thing.
There has been a cocktail we've done that had orange in it, but I can't recall what it was.
Yeah.
Though that might have been a spirits cocktail.
Might have been. Yeah.
Not one of our originals.
Now, do you think this would taste just as good with different Deadheads?
Oh yeah, for sure. Now I think you might miss out on that chocolate orange candy flavor. But yeah, no, it's really good. And if you guys want to give this recipe a try, we found it on Deadhead's recipes on their recipe tab on their website. So I'll be sure to link that in the show notes. So if you guys want to check that out, that's where you can find it. Yeah, and this is going to be a great cocktail to kind of sip through the rest of our evening on.
Yeah, just evening to get it going. It's a little warm right now, so it's gonna make things a little good kind of thing. But anyway, my turn.
Is it your turn, or should we go into my liquor facts? I have a few to review.
Let's go some liquor facts.
All right. So as I mentioned earlier, we did do an Instagram live tasting and mixology of all 3 of Deadhead's rums. So we taste tested each of their rums and then made their cocktail, picked out a cocktail recipe that went with what used each of those rums. Blah. And then what we did was we picked out one of our other spirits that could substitute in that place. It was a very fun experiment. So if you guys are interested in looking into that, that was almost a year ago. It happened on June 12th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. Anniversaries.
Yeah, so definitely give it a look-see. It's in our Reels page, so you guys can rewatch it.
Sweet.
And again, I'll share it in the show notes. As I mentioned before in our last Deadhead rum episode, they mentioned that dark chocolate rum and white rum takes influence of Mexico's gift to the world, chocolate. The monkey head is tribute to the monkeys helping discover chocolate. So the natives noticed that the monkeys would actually crack open the cacao pods and eat the beans inside. So they tried that and realized it had this unique flavor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never actually had straight up cacao. Like, I don't wonder how, like...
Me neither. I'd love to try.
No, I've had, like, 100% cacao chocolate, and I think that's different than actual cacao. But, you know, if you guys know any better, let us know. But I've never actually, like, grabbed, like, a cacao pod and be like...
Yeah, no, I'd love to try it straight from the pod. And then monkeys were found living in abundance at the Izapa dig site. So that was one of the shrines that's in Chiapas. But I think the shrine was called Izapa. It's been a while, so I just copy and pasted some of my notes. So my memory is not as fresh as it was when I was telling those notes. And then during those ancient times,
back in the day,
the cacao pods were considered extremely valuable. The beans were actually used as currency for the Mayans.
Ooh.
And then the chocolate drink, because it was a treat, it was given as a sacrificial drink, kind of like your last meal. Like, you get this luxury item as like thank you for being the sacrifice.
It's like, peace out.
So yeah, that's kind of what I have. If you guys are interested to hear more about Deadhead and all of their stuff, I totally gushed about them in that the first Deadhead rum episode that we did. And I felt very lucky.
We'll tag it. You guys
yeah, you'll see a little window pop up. And it'll link on YouTube, which is always a nice little treat. But I just thank you again, Deadhead, because they provided all these resources when I was like, hey, I'm reaching out because we're a podcast. We talk about spooky spirits and we just love your branding and we can't wait to share it with our listeners. And their marketing person, who happens to be the owner, was just so great. She gave me all these resources and was like, let me know anything else you need. And yeah, we got this great rum in our lives and we use it in quite a few of our cocktails. So,
you know, it was really funny because we always seen Deadhead at bars, tiki bars mostly. And we were always pushed away from it from bartenders.
Oh, yeah.
They always oh, it's not that good of rum. It's not good of rum. Now, I have over 100 rums in my belt that I tried. Thank you for being honest for that. I've done half of their Kill Double list, the first one. And so being able to get to taste a lot of different rooms. Getting to taste Deadhead now to Sips and Spirits and getting to taste the varietals, I'm like, why would you push people away from it?
Yeah.
Because it's actually a nice, simple rum.
It not only is it it's a great cocktail mixing rum, but it's also a nice sipping rum too.
Yeah. Now, it's not a traditional rum, so I'll go with that. So if you want to go for more a traditional style rum, it's not that. but it's still like a good rum. So it's like to be told to be pushed away by a lot of different bartenders kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's just like a decorative piece kind of thing. We don't really like, people don't really like it. I'm like, who do you turn this to kind of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, even if
We've found it to be a
we
very
found it to be
versatile
enjoyable, yeah.
rum.
If you don't, even if you don't enjoy rum, if anything, you get these cool little bottles
Hmm.
kind of thing. Not as pricey as the Ghost Tequila bottle kind of thing, but you get these cool little bottles that can be decorative
Yeah.
kind of thing. But they're still, I like I said, we personally enjoy them,
Hmm.
and I wanted to like try to use them on different things, but just never put like an effort to like outside of here kind of thing. But like there are very enjoyable rums kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
okay, that's about it for me.
that's about it for you.
Yep.
Okay, so
Mine's short and sweet
short and
this time.
just like this rum. Nice and
Yeah, I
short.
feel like, oh
Compared to the
no.
other balls, because other balls have like a long neck. This is like tiny
Yeah.
kind of thing.
For those watching on YouTube, just a comparison, we have the classic Deadhead rum bottle. It looks like a shrunken
Yeah, it
head,
has
and
the
then you
whole,
have the long, like kind of ponytail. That's the neck of the
Yeah.
bottle. And then the dark chocolate rum one it looks like a shrunken monkey head.
Yeah.
But it has a shorter bottle neck.
Yeah.
So no ponytail.
No ponytail. Can monkeys grow a ponytail?
But they both say Deadhead on them. And yeah. It's a fun little, especially if you're like a tiki enthusiast like us, it does look fun on your bar. It gives that whole tropical escapism vibe.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so since our rum comes from the city
Jungle?
jungle of Chiapas,
Yes.
I decided to think of a interesting idea when it comes to encountering supernatural things.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so would you rather encounter a supernatural thing that speaks your language
Mm-hmm.
and kind of threatens you in your language, or would you rather somebody do it in a foreign language you don't understand?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I feel like in my language.
At least I know what was going to happen, right?
Well, I feel like there are some like horror films that we've seen where it's like you had no idea what they're saying. It adds to the fear factor. Like something threatening's being said to
Mhm.
you, but you have no context. So you don't even have a good idea of how severe it is. So it makes it even more
Well, do you remember
frightening.
that Incantation movie we watched? And they had that little every
Oh
so often.
God.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, no, we were like, oh my God.
You kind of skip that part.
But I was even thinking, do you remember the shrine?
Yeah.
With
It was a while, but yeah.
yeah, but so they were speaking another language, right? And you had these two Americans visiting, have no idea what's going on because they don't even give subtitles for the audiences. So you're just as in the dark as the main characters are, and it's stressful. Versus like, okay, you can hear the threat, and I don't know, it feels a little, even the threat could be exactly the same, but somehow knowing what they're saying feels a little less threatening and intimidating.
Yeah, because it can be saying something, and you their tone of voice or something can be they're menacing, like, oh, I don't know what they're saying, they're gonna attack me, or it can be something that's like, hey, don't go that road because there's a crazy troll over there kind of thing.
Right.
And like they're just trying to give you something just the way it sounded. I'll agree with you. Knowing what they say would be great to know, kind of thing. Also, that way I can communicate with them, kind of thing. Be like, hey, let's make a bargain, kind of thing.
Right.
What's going on, kind of thing. Yeah, I told you this before. One of my favorite comedians, unfortunately, passed away. He has a joke about a family who lives in Mexico. Okay, and the dad is this macho, like ranchero kind of guy, kind of thing, cowboy boots, big hat, giant mustache.
Right.
And his daughter gets sick, so he has to go across the border to the United States. Okay, he's like, okay, well, I'll go do it, but I was like, no, don't do it. And it's like, well, why not? And it's like, well, there's this vampire when you cross the border who attacks you, kind of thing. And he
What?
pretty much like sexually assaults you, kind of thing. 'Cause that's what that vampire does,
Huh.
kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's like that's what I was like, and then he has like this friend's like, well, if you say this chant, he won't do anything to you. It's like a chant, like
Oh
that
wait,
kind of
I
thing.
think I know this.
And he goes, I'm trying to think because the joke's in Spanish, so I'm
Hmm.
trying to think the chants like, vampire from the borders, something along the lines that counting, vampiro fronterizo, por las noches volarás, something tus hechizos, mis dagas no las tendrás, and pretty much translates to vampire from the borders. As you fight through the night, it doesn't matter if you enchant me, you won't get my sweet buns. Kind of thing. And so like and then it starts like make sure you say it like straight up, don't be like blah, blah, kind of thing. It's like say it straight up and be like straight with them.
Hmm.
And so like as the guy's driving, it's like going to the board to get this medicine for his daughter, and it's like rechanting kind of thing. Again, he lives in Mexico, kind of thing. And then he crosses the border, and then the vampire like shows up in his car. I was like, he's like, okay, what was the channel? Oh, yeah, vampire from the border who's flying through the night. Besides all your spells, you won't have my sweet buns. He says this in Spanish, and the vampire replies, "What?" In English. Like he didn't understand because he's like, I don't.
Right.
We don't speak the same language, kind of thing. And so he got the man kind of thing. So when I thought of the idea, it made me think of that joke. I was like, kind of thing.
Oh, that's a good one.
So,
Yeah.
I'll share you the link for that joke so you can share with people.
Yes, that'd be
Kind of
fun
thing.
to
It'll
include.
be in Spanish, guys. So if you need a translation, I can try to translate the whole thing. I'm going a little backwards.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll tell you a story first, and then I'll tell you the facts about
Okay.
the spooky. Kind of
Sounds
thing.
good.
I figured it would make.
I like when you throw us in and we get like surprised by it, and then you go back and you're like, so here's the details.
Yeah. So I feel this one will feel better this way, kind of thing. So Rosa was a lovely girl. Men all over town will do favors for her. It's like they were just beautiful. They wanted to be like around her, kind of thing. But when they wanted more than just like, hey, let me help you out. When they're like, hey, I helped you out, like, hey, do you want to date sometime? Do you want to, get married or whatever? Rosa was like, nah, you're not good enough for me, kind of thing.
Gracias.
The same with travelers. You get many merchants come by and be like, oh man, this is a beautiful girl in town. Like, oh, I'm a merchant, and this is like, it's nice, but nah, kind of thing.
Sorry, I keep thinking, Brandy, you're fine, girl.
But yeah, so like people come over, they invite her to dinner, they buy her gifts, in town, but it was never enough for her.
Mm-hmm.
One day, a group of rancheros, cowboys, people like came by, all dressed, in their cowboy outfits, giant sombreros and whatnot. They came to town one day, and they were just, kind of passing by, and they're gonna stay in town for a little bit before going to the main city, kind of thing. It wasn't anything weird because this happened quite often because their town was like, kind of like a little pit stop. Kind of like they think about truck stop, but like, for cattle ranchers and whatnot.
Okay.
And, so to her, Rosa, these guys were dime a dozen. She's seen many of them all the time.
Wasn't anything
They're impressive.
unusual.
And for the most part, like, oh, these are just helping hands. They're just, poor people kind of thing. So one of them approached her and goes, Senora, may I say you're quite a sight to see. She giggled, like, oh, so nicely. But, he was a ranchero, a helping hand, She had it full of wealthier men all the time to offer stuff. So why would she go with this guy? So then he brings out his little sack. And he shows us this beautiful necklace. And she was like, wow, this was like amazing. How can this guy, who's just cows, have this lovely necklace? So he shows this necklace. She's like stunned by it because this helping hands like has this really nice necklace.
Mm-hmm.
And
where'd he steal it from?
Yeah, right. And so he goes, please, ma'am, please do me the honor of dining with me tonight, and this could be yours. You can have this necklace. Rosa agreed. And then when she came to the restaurant, she looked around for this man, and he saw his sombrero. How could he wear such a thing to such a nice restaurant? She thought, it's like, we're in a nice place, at least, dress nice. But who cares? She just wanted the necklace. When she reached the table, She was stunned at how nicely he was dressed. What was that?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Probably the water draining from the pipes.
I don't know. It sounded like
Gargling.
like someone dragging their monster claws against
Lovely.
the wall.
Lovely. But so when she was stunned on the way he was dressed, it's like he came in with like dirty clothes, like ranchero, but he was dressed very nice. Sombrero was still dressed very nice. She sat with him. They chatted away the evening until closing. Something about his personality made her forget about the necklace. He was just very charming, very nice. He walked her back to her place, like, oh, I almost forgot. And he handed her the pouch. Excited, she asked if he wanted to come upstairs with her, but he refused. He needed to take care of his horse, but also a gentleman shouldn't soil a single woman's bed. She was like, oh, rich, gentleman, and polite? Where did this guy come from? She lay in her bed and slept like in clouds, but was woken by a noise of footsteps. She looked around the room. Was someone there? She looked over to a chair. Was someone sitting there? That's when a shadow stood up. She tried to make shape of it. A man? Was that a sombrero? Was that the rancher from dinner? Closer and closer, hearing the sounds of spurs with each step. Frightened, she turned the light on and felt as if there was a necklace around her neck being pulled. When she turned the light on, nothing. No one was there. Confused, frightened, she stayed awake all night. In the morning, Rosa went out wearing her new jewelry and feeling more amazing than before. She visited her mom and told her about the news. She had found what may be the man of her dreams. Her mom warned her about rancheros in her life as not one she would enjoy, but she was ignored. The jewelry was all she cared about. That night, she ran into him again. They went out for drinks. He walked her back once again and gave her a pouch, a bracelet, a beautiful bracelet. Please, please, come in this time. He refused again. He had to tend his horse and would leave in the morning. He will treasure his memories, though. Disappointed, she went to her room. She tried on her jewelry together and was glad how well it looked. So happy, she wore it to bed. Again that night, she was woken by a noise. She looked around, and again a shadow standing there, staring. Step, step. The sounds of spurs getting closer and closer. A hand reached into her, and she was frightened. She was frozen, closer and closer, grabbing and pulling on her necklace. Gasping for air, she turned the light on again. What was that? She swore something was pulling her. Scared, she grabbed a rope and ran out of the house, looking for the ranchero. She didn't want to be alone. He was packing to go, and we would take her with him, and they left before the sun rose. The next day, in the afternoon, a merchant came to town. He would come weekly, so he got to know the people of town. Everyone noticed he had a pale look in his face. Went to authorities and revealed that he had a body in the back of his car. The body of Rosa.
What?
So.
You gotta work on that delivery. Like, you dropped the ending just like.
Just then.
What?
We all heard.
I mean, I kind of saw it coming. Like, there's like a warning, like a saying warning, something about like essentially it's saying be cautious of people bearing gifts with no conditions, right? I'm not.
What's their angle?
Exactly, but how? Like, she. Sorry, I should let you continue because my brain is like, oh my god.
So.
No.
We all heard of shadow people, right? People, the top hat man, the eyes watching you during sleep paralysis. But what if you encounter one of those when you're awake, when you're strolling around town? Let me introduce you to El Hombre del Sombrero, the man with the hat, also known as a sombrerero. In Tuxtla Gutierrez, Chiapas, some people reported having seen a very tall man, stocky, with an elegant black suit. Not Slenderman. Gold buttons, huge boots like with silk spurs, a cowboy Slenderman per se. He seems to attract women more often than men, but he changes depending on who he encounters. He will use all kinds of tricks promising riches of their company, and they disappear.
Shapeshifter.
They found some stories say they're They're found in distant caves near encounter locations or in other situations just far from the first encounter. An elder man has been seen in one of the towns of Chiapas. No one knows who he is or where he came from, and no one dares to ask. Something in the guts always tells him never to approach. He's always dressed in black, with a sombrero also black. He is also either followed by or riding a dark horse. He uses and talks to anyone. As soon as he appears, he disappears as well. He is, though, known to be being a flirt, depending on the social status I mentioned earlier. His attire changes. If he finds himself to charm a woman of high society, he will dress to the nines. If he finds himself trying to seduce a more humble indigenous woman, he will have garbs similar to hers to feel more comfortable and approachable. The only consistency is his sombrero. He is very charming and often jewelry and riches for are offered, with cherry on top. Most women disappear, but this is known because supposedly a single woman has escaped him. Other legends state that he is also a thief. He appears in the streets to rob anyone who has bad fortune of encountering him. But he doesn't just rob anyone walking by. Usually it's bad people, a drunk, other thieves, sinners, generally just bad people. Kind of thing.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Whew.
So,
is the black sombrero like symbolic to anything?
most
Like I know, like mariachis usually have a.
kind of thing. Sombreros.
Is there like any like special like levels to sombreros?
I would say a black sombrero. So,
like I guess
black
you
or-
have like felted ones,
Mhm.
and then you have like the straw,
yeah.
right?
So the felted ones are mostly more like formal wear.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. Like mariachis will wear them.
I'm saying felted, but it might be a different material. Like don't call me out on that.
Usually black is thought about to be like nice attire or white kind of thing. It's two ones you see. I've seen some that are brownish kind of thing in nature, kind of thing, more like cow print
Okay.
kind of thing, and those are just more like casual kind of thing. But sombreros are just those are kind of like the main like if I'm dressing up to the nines,
Right.
sombrero.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking like so when I think of whenever a mariachi band performs, yeah, they're typically like black to match their attire, and I think the only time like I've seen white sombreros would be like at a wedding event
Vicente
or
Fernandez used to wear white sombreros.
yeah, I was gonna say remember me. What's his name?
Ernesto de la Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
De la Cruz.
So
he wore
a white sombrero because
right.
and again it's
because he was like the star.
Yeah.
So.
But you don't want white to do rancher work because
right, obviously. But I think of just your token like look with the poncho and the sombrero. That sombrero is typically made of like a straw wrap kind of thing. So
but yeah, no. But when I found this, because I was looking, what's scary out in Chiapas, and they talked about this sombrero, this sombrero man, and I was like, a shadow person in real life.
He's like a shapeshifter, though.
I mean,
or
well,
like
so a lot of times people don't know what it looks like because his sombrero's usually covered. Like he stands in a way where he can't be seen his face. Kind
yeah,
of,
no, you think about like that, like traditional like cowboy pose, right?
Kind of thing, yeah. But it's very elegant looking. It's probably like a mariachi outfit in that sense, kind of thing, or like in a suit that matches kind of style. But again, at the same time, it's like he may have a sombrero, but he's talking to somebody more like Pueblo kind of girls versus more like city girls. Like I said, he just his attire gets more toned down kind of thing. So is it really a shapeshifter, or is it more like an illusionist kind of thing?
Well, excuse me. I think almost more like not like Skinwalker Ranch, but like the Skinwalkers who like steal the identities of people. Like a changeling of sorts. But not like the Irish kind of changeling.
But so he'll like, change to whatever.
Did you ever see Supernatural? Right, where he would pretty much take on like their look and their clothes of whoever it was, and had like
I don't
their
know.
identity, pretty much.
But like,
Um,
when I think about what this person did, you made me think of like conversation I had once upon a time. You know, with my guy friends, it's like, if I could have like, they have those guys like, oh, I wish I could read girls' minds and like know
mhm.
what they're thinking. It's like, and I can't believe I remember it was me or somebody else like, you know what would be cool if I can change myself to be what they like, kind of thing. And so that's what this guy does. Like he changes his appearance itself, what it is, maybe his height, his weight, whatever, to
Uh-huh.
whatever he wants to
Would
attract,
be right appealing
kind
to
of
the
thing,
victim.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a word for that, like like a creature of
Mm-hmm.
sorts. The sombrero.
Sombrero kind of thing. But yeah, no,
um,
it was interesting, and it goes back to the whole idea of like this story is not a new story. It's been and there's people's it's been talked about before,
uh-huh.
kind of thing, before probably the internet. So a story of a shadow-like person,
I feel like I've heard like a story like this before. It's like,
kind of thing, and then you have this
but
Steve
not from
Peralta's,
Mexico.
also a top hat man,
Hmm.
kind of thing, again a nice
Well, the
attire,
hat, right, could be
know.
more cultural association,
Mm-hmm.
right? What hats would symbolize a form of status, right?
Yeah.
A top hat's not going to be worn by just any Joe Blow,
No,
right?
kind of thing, like if you go to certain parts of the world, top of like, what are you wearing that? Versus like a sombrero in Mexico, okay, that makes kind
Hmm.
of sense.
Yeah. And I just kept thinking, it was like, oh man, I like love Deadhead always, or throughout their website. Did you poke your elbow on the
No, I'm
pin?
like my windows.
No, it shifts a little.
Mhm.
They're like, you can come and visit our distillery in Chiapas. I was like, that would be a fun trip. But no, not now. I'm not not hearing there's this shape shifting, appealing creature.
So anyway, when sombrero comes talk to you, you say no.
That's gonna make me look really rude. Like, what are the chances you found something in Chiapas? So it's almost like tying in quite beautifully.
Mhm.
But also, I'm like, man, so much very similar tie to Brandy, right? Fine girl. She make a great wife. And she has a stint with this guy who ups and abandons her. I don't know. You could interpret that song many ways.
What is this, a corpse bride?
Huh?
Corpse bride?
No. But what was the other thing? When you're reading the story and you're talking about the different like presents he gives her, was like, where did he steal them from? Right? That's what I'm thinking.
So the idea is
Like,
that,
was she gonna get framed or something?
well, the idea is that he
Right. No, he's trying to appeal to her.
so whatever this shadow person or this person is like able to provide to her what she wants to see.
But like, why? Like, he had. Why would he come? Or we don't know. The shadow entity at night come when he refused to go to her room. Like, maybe this is, I know, going against the whole mythology or whatever, but what if the guy that she was kind of interested in, who's presenting all these gifts, had no relation to the shadow thing she was seeing? And maybe it was the shadow thing she left with on the last night instead of the guy whom she had seen 2 nights in a row.
Could be.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. You never know. But yeah, no. Overall, I thought it was a neat story.
No, I liked it a lot.
And I like the fact that it was kind of like, okay, this is what's going on out there, kind of thing. You never know.
So fun.
And I think with shapeshifters or people who take humanoid forms, kind of thing, we talked about the horrors of like serial killers, like it one and just bad taste leaves out in people's mouth, kind of thing. But like when you have a shapeshifter encrypted or a creature or entity, and
And there's a lot of them that imitate.
You know, like we've heard stories of, you know, like ghosts just choosing to be like, they're just like, you know, people who used to live in the house kind of thing, or, you know, shadow people, you know, black eyed kids, you know, or black eyed people kind of things. It's like, it creates a sense of like, they're trying to create a sense of like comfort and be like, okay, I can approach you because I'm not just a monster, but at the same time, it's like, like you walk around town, like, are they a real person? Kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And whatnot. But no. But yeah.
Fun times. I like that.
Fun times all around. I felt when first together, I was like, I had the facts about things like, you know what, let's not reveal what the actual entity
No,
is.
I kind of liked it.
Kind of thing.
I like that.
I was like, okay, but if we reveal it first, this is gonna be too obvious.
So then, but then you're like anticipating it, right?
Yeah.
Just them to react on the instinct of the details that you shared.
Yeah.
So I like that approach. I like it.
Kind of thing.
You guys let us know.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. So I think I had some great reactions. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, you were like, ooh.
You
You don't like shadows staying up in your sleep.
Well, yeah, no. There's reasons for that.
There is reasons for that.
So it's not my thing. It's not my bag, baby.
Do we have any questions from the beyond?
We do not have any questions from the beyond this time. But this is just a reminder, since we've got the time for it, that if you guys ever have any questions you want to ask us, or anything you want us to talk about briefly, it doesn't even have to be a question. Just be like, hey, tell us about your favorite cryptid or something. I can't think of what's the latest cocktail you tried, or
Well, I'm gonna throw something.
horror movie we watched.
We should.
We're gonna talk about that horror movie we watched last night in our Goat Man. Oh. in our hauntings behind the bar. We're definitely gonna share that, because I can't remember what the movie was called. It was like Dead Waves or something. Good movie. Whew. And I think what's really bothering me is I've been having a lot of weird dreams lately. Like,
I'm jealous.
No, I haven't had them in quite a while. But all of a sudden, like almost every day this week, I've had some sort of extreme dream. But the frustrating part is I wake up knowing I had like, not just like weird or odd or unusual, like I know they're one of my like creepy, crazy dreams, but I cannot recall the details. But I know it was intense. And that's almost a little bit more frustrating, is I know there was something really uncomfortable about it. Even last night I had one. I didn't tell you, but
interesting, because you know, like whimper when you do that, or you have like a little like episode, I guess, for like words. Well, I have something to share.
Oh yes.
Yesterday, and just will go more into the details of this on her experience later.
My experience.
When she was out of Winchester Centennial event, I was at home, and I've been seeing these around. For those guys who don't know what these are, because you can't see.
I was like, you gotta describe
it. Came out with a hard energy drink, pretty much.
They call it an alcoholic. If you don't know what hard it means, it's an alcoholic energy drink
kind of thing, and it's called the Beast Unleashed. I've been seeing the case for them, and I didn't feel like buying a whole case because I was like, how do they taste? I'm not gonna be sure. Kind of thing.
Because you're not a big Monster fan.
No, and I did a little.
And I don't drink energy drinks.
I did a little story about it yesterday when I opened it up, so I had a live reaction.
I was so proud of you. Eric took over the.
But like, I don't drink Monster just because I've never really been a taste for them kind of thing. Most energy drinks don't do much for me. They just kind of thing. And so I was curious about a pick for this podcast itself, kind of thing. So I was like, okay, I'd give it a try. I got the white haze one. It wasn't bad, kind of thing. Alcohol, there's kind of thing. So as you guys are concerned, it's not for locals level. It's not that crazy, but it is an energy drink with alcohol in it. So drink responsibly. kind
Yeah.
of thing, you know, in that aspect of things. So it's different. If you like monsters, you might
It's
enjoy
got a
this.
cool little like dragon eye on it.
Yeah, it's like a monster in it.
I'll be sure to drop a picture of it.
Like a lizard, maybe. I don't know. Gargoyle. Unleashed. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not bad. Anyway.
So, you guys ever want to ask us anything, you can email us or message us on our Instagram.
Or comment on any of our posts.
Anywhere.
Like, hey,
just be like, hey, I really want to know about this
Yeah.
from you guys. And we'll be like, sure. You want to know about your how to make these simple syrups? We can put a recipe book together just on simple syrups at this point.
We've done so many. And they're so fun. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about that
Movie.
movie in the next episode because
So
that was fun.
Thanks for sipping along with us.
We're ready for our last call?
I am ready for our last call.
You didn't announce it.
Oh, well, too bad. Thanks for sipping along with us. We want to keep those spirits flowing, so please be sure to show your support by reviewing and subscribing to our podcast. If you enjoy the show, be sure to share it with others.
Yeah. Share with others. Leave us a review. We would love a review. We haven't gotten any yet, but that's okay.
I think got like a few. No?
No reviews.
No reviews.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever reviewed a podcast?
Nope.
I get it. Like, I totally get it. But it lets us know, like, are you guys enjoying it? Although, honestly, you guys just reach out to us, which many of you have.
Thank you.
Like, and we really appreciate that. Like, I'm dropping names. I was like, not to drop any names, but definitely dropping names. Steam and Kittens, thank you for always, like, after every episode, always goes, she drops me in my personal DMs, like, all the things that she enjoyed from the episode or that she wanted to make a comment on, which I love because I'm that kind of person too. When I'm listening to a podcast, it's like, I'm responding as I'm listening and is like, no, I make notes and then I'll message them. If it's my friend's podcast, I don't do it I only listen to my friend's podcast. So,
There we go.
Yeah, so thank you, Steam and Kittens. I just wanted to throw that out. But yeah, leaving that review, it doesn't just like get us excited, but it helps other people know what to expect from this podcast.
Yep.
So if you guys ever find a little bit of free time or you're bored and like, what should I do? Leave a review for Sips and Spirits.
There we go. Kathy.
Yeah. And then on that note, you can find us on all podcast hosts as well as YouTube. So if you want to watch our beautiful faces, get an idea of what these cocktail bottles look like, see what our cocktails look like, you watch us on YouTube. If not, you just want to listen to us, you can find us everywhere on any podcast platform. We have made sure we are available everywhere at this point.
You might see your terrifying face when I say stories.
Yeah,
Finally.
YouTube is there
YouTube
for
is there.
that. You want Chelsea's storytelling faces? That's the place to go. The faces of Chelsea, as I like to call them. Or other places to find us. Sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm enjoying this cocktail a bit too much.
Yep.
No, just enough. Not too much. Just enough. We have a website, sipsandspirits.com. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. All our handles are the same across all platforms, Sips and Spirits.
.com?
So, not .com. That's our website.
Oh, just kidding.
Our handle on those platforms is Sips and Spirits. And if you don't feel like social media, we do have an email newsletter, and we highly encourage you to sign up for it. Just head to sipsandspirits.com/happy hour, and you can sign up. And we have been seeing people sign up lately, so thank you for all those new subscribers. We're so excited to have you.
Yes.
And we will be going on a break pretty soon. We have one more episode left,
Mm-hmm.
and then we take our typical post 10 episode break. So we'll be on break for about a month and a half, 2 months. It varies based off of when our last episode goes.
Yeah.
So we will still be sending out our email newsletters every other week. until we start back up our episodes. So that's going to be the best way to keep in touch with us, know when those episodes will start back up again. This is a usual break for us. So after our 10 episodes, we go through and we kind of revisit and see what worked, what didn't. We tried a lot of new things in these past 10 episodes.
Yep.
So we're going to be discussing what worked and what we'll keep up and what we might change. So,
Also,
yeah.
we'll be at a Midsummer Scream in the end of July. If you guys see us, we have some lovely goodies.
Some fun goodies. I'm so excited.
Putting out in the comment floor so people can
find us
and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, ready to close our tab?
Yeah, I am. So
thanks.
until next time.
Thanks for sticking along with us.
Yes. Cheers.